Let's talk about presentation design. But before that, let me share a little bit with you about this term called the elevator pitch. So a pitch is a presentation, a short presentation that we use to deliver an idea, a concept or proposal to our client, to the investor or to the lecturer within a short time frame. So we need to use very precise word, very clear words, very structured sentences to convey the idea across. So this word elevator pitch, the idea of this word comes from a story where, let's say, you have a great idea that you want to propose to the CEO of this company, but it's very hard for you to get the time to arrange a meeting with this boss. So one day, imagine you sneak into the big HQ office, you sneak past all the security, and you manage to go to the 118th floor in the Merdeka Tower. And then you waited there for hours and hours, and then suddenly you saw the boss come out from the meeting room. And then you quickly run to the boss and they say, let's say, Mr. X, I have a great idea that I want to tell you, and I think we can success together with this great idea if you buy this idea and we work together. But then, of course, the boss, usually big boss, they don't have time to lion you. They need to rush to somewhere else and you are nobody to them because they don't know you. So as the boss go into the lift, you also try to squeeze yourself into the lift. And now that you keep convincing the boss close the door, press the ground floor. And now since you are stuck in the elevator together with the boss, so the boss also said, okay, you know what? I'll give you a chance. So during this elevator ride, the journey of this elevator ride, if you can convince me, then maybe I'll think about it. So this 118th floor, it's a speed elevator where usually it's very fast one. But during this limited time frame, what can you say to present your idea as clearly as possible so that you can convince the boss to buy into your idea, into your vision, or into the product or whatever things that you are trying to pitch. So that's why the term elevator pitch exists, okay, to portray this kind of situation or to call this kind of presentation. Now, the purpose of this presentation design, okay, again, first thing, presentation design and presentation skill is two different things. Presentation skill is a skill that we use, like how do we articulate, okay, our speech, like the tonality, the volume, the body language. How do we play with different expression, emotion in our speech? The way we speak is usually oral speaking lah. And presentation design is how we structured our presentation slide. All right, our presentation slide. What do we start with in the first slide, and then second slide? How can we connect to the third slide? And then what are the information that we need to put in this particular slide? So to design and to structurize this sequence, this is presentation design. And if, let's say, unless you have like a super presentation, like super great presentation skill, even if you don't have a very clear structure of how are you going to present the story, the idea, most likely the other person will not be able to understand what's your goal clearly, and then you will lose. Again, that's why our goal here is to design a presentation that can help you articulate conceptual idea, abstract idea with full clarity and coherence. Coherence means the seamlessness from one information or one slide to another slide. How well can you connect one story to another story? That's why in the first slide, I encourage you guys to, when you guys stand in front to present, or whether you do a recording like this to present your idea, don't be a presenter, be a storyteller. You tell story. Just like in the movies. Why can we watch a 3-hour-long movie sitting still, looking at the screen, doing nothing? But when we need to just listen to a 1-hour slide or 1-hour lecture, we got distracted, we get tired, we'll get our fidget spinner, and we'll click our phone. So there's a logical reason behind this. It's because movies, it's designed, okay, it's structured in a way to catch our attention using storytelling. And storytelling has existed since centuries ago, since wayang kulit, since black and white film, since the opera theatre performance, Romeo and Juliet. We already have a very foundational storytelling framework, storytelling structure that many storytellers, whether you're doing sales, artist, singer, basically any form of art, we should incorporate storytelling technique inside. And this includes presentation design. That is why it is called a narrative presentation design. So this video here, I will very quickly, in a very fast, using a very fast formula, where you guys can just refer to this point form, and then you can design and structurize your presentation very clearly. And when you present, even if you have let's say you have poor English, you will still be able to present in a very clear manner. Of course, not until the level where you cannot even pronounce certain word, but with normal level of English, you can do a very good presentation. Right, so this is a 3x structure, just to represent a storytelling journey. Right, but we won't be using the 3x structure here. What we'll be using is this one. So there are 6 key elements here that you need to follow in order when you design your presentation slide. All right, I will go through one by one, and then I will try to give an example to it. So when we first start our presentation, we always start with a monologue. In movies, usually when we start a movie, you will see the main character. You will be introduced to the main character, who is he or she, where she belongs, what is the problem that this character faces, and then what is the goal or the dream of this character. So this is during the introduction or the monologue. So when we do our presentation design, we need to start a story using personal experience. We share a story about our experience, whether experience that we face ourselves, we observe, we hear, experience that we see, experience that maybe anything that has to do with our senses. All right. And the reason why we should use personal experience is because of empathy. If you remember design thinking, the design thinking framework, the first step to develop an idea is to start with empathy. Because through empathy, you will create a deep connection between two persons, or between you and the community or the scenario. So same thing here, when you are delivering a presentation, when you start with a story, a monologue, you are establishing a connection with your audience. So now they feel you. You want them to feel your pain that you share, the excitement that you felt during your story. All right. And then we want to link the story to our main problem. So in here, basically, you're establishing your target audience and also your main problem or your problem statement. The second one is the problem. So from here, you can see when we share our personal story, and then we will mention what problem that we notice. And then the second part, we link to the problem very seamlessly. Now, we need to talk more about this problem. Let's focus on this problem. So how do you exaggerate the problem? When I say exaggerate, doesn't mean that you put fake facts or wrong facts. When I say exaggerate, means you justify why this problem is real using evidence, whether it's from the newspaper, research paper, articles, or videos that you see on media outlets. And then we need to exaggerate by showing the impact of this problem. What are the limitations that is currently ongoing within the society that prevent us from solving this problem? And we need to highlight the urgency. Like, we have to solve it right now. Because if we don't, sooner or later, or very soon, things will go bad. All right, bad things will happen. Same like in movies, when you have a character which faces a set of problems, we want to explore the journey of the character when they go and solve the problem. If a movie, the character started off without any problem, then there's nothing to watch already. So problem is very important. You need to emphasize it more. But again, show as much evidence that is relevant as possible to justify that the problem is real. The impact is very big because it impacted this particular community. And then from here, when it gets worse, it will impact another third party. and then we cannot solve it because got limitation, and of course, again, urgency. There's a time bomb here. All right. And once you have established the problem, the main problem and everything, now we want to look outside the box. How can we solve this issue? We don't know because we don't have a solution yet. We need to brainstorm, we need to get inspiration, we need to do some research, we need to interview people. So this is where we go and explore and try to find out what can we do. So by finding out what can we do, we are usually gathering insight, gathering knowledge and information. So from here onwards, we need to present a related insight that can help you bridge the problem and the potential solution later in the next slide. So for example, I will give just one example. Let's say the problem that I want to talk about is that this particular river A, okay, the river A is very polluted. You want to clean it, but then you don't have the resources because of money, and because you don't have the party don't have that much time to always send people to go and clean the river. Even if you talk to the people that don't throw rubbish, don't do this, don't do that, they still do it. It's like dead end. But as you are researching, you found river B. In river B, there's another problem. There's no pollution, but there's another problem there that the people there are facing. That river is infested with oyster. You know, oyster, the seafood oyster. They have a problem. Too many oyster already until you cannot even like have different fishes or life being in the water because the oyster Now I got this new insight. I got all the knowledge. Oysters, did you know that oysters are natural water filters? They actually help filter the water naturally. So now it links to our fourth element. We have our problem. We have a related insight from the oyster from river B. Now, this spark a light bulb moment. What if? Okay. What if, since they are infested with oyster, too many oyster already, until people want to sell also don't want already, why not we take the oyster there that is overloaded, we take the oyster and then we put it in river A, which are polluted. Since oysters are natural water filters, right? So what if we put in the river A, then it will naturally clean the water. Okay, that's number one. Number two, but then what if once the water is clean, but the oysters infest the river again? Then at last both river or this river also like got oyster problem already. So we come up with another idea to help overcome that limitation. Oh, then why not we build a cage, a metal wire cage where we can place a very specific amount of oyster within that cage, so that it's like a very portable water filter where we can just put in, take out, put in, take out. If this one really too much already, then we can take out and split to another cage or something. So this idea, just by research, okay, through the research, through the ideation, it sounds like macam it can work. But when we go and do that time, whether can work or whatever challenge that we face, that one later. Alright. But at least from the basic information, basic knowledge, it seems possible based on the logic. So that's why this the fourth element, what if, this is a question that you ask to help you frame existing idea that can frame to your previous problem and try to explore the possible solution. And once you have that, again, you have the idea ready, then you need to clarify why would this work. Now this is where you do research to prove how can this idea work. Because we don't want to propose something that the moment you open your mouth, right, you propose to the boss, then the boss say, impossible, cannot work. Because why? Because this will fight with this is impossible. Or maybe just for example, if you put the oyster here, it will not work because the oyster will die because the river, then no point already. That's why you need to do very deep research to prove that, the water from river A and river B, they are the same characteristic. They have the same whatever pH value or whatever lah. Okay, the salt density or anything. You have studies to show that actually both water are the same, temperature are the same, the landscape, everything are the same, the living condition are the same. Confirm oyster can survive there. And then what else? Oyster can filter water. Then this one, how big is the size? So again, you try to justify why this idea works and what is the feature, the benefit of using this method. So from all this evidence and supporting supporting facts, research, or maybe some other countries you notice that they do something similar. You can use that to support, to say that, you see, other countries also doing something similar. They also can work. We just have to tweak it a little bit to match with our condition. Then the goal can achieve already. So this section is where you convince it even further that this idea will work. Alright, high chance this idea will work based on the logic and the planning here. Then once you presented all of this, then you can slowly lead the presentation or the pitch to a closure. So in the closure, you need to re-emphasize back why is it important. Tell them, remind them, why is it important to take action now. Alright, and then how to do that? You want to have a proper closure in your proposal pitch, just like a movie. You want to know whether the hero at the end got die or not, or is it survive or not. So you need a proper closure. So to do that, you link back the key point back to your original monologue story. Okay, whatever monologue story that you create earlier, you try to link back to the story. And if not, if you don't link back, you don't give a closure, then your presentation is like a cliffhanger. It's like in movies, you kill the ghost already, suddenly at the end of the movie, the eye open again. How come the ghost or the monster didn't die? No, because in movies, they want season 2, they want second movie to make money. But proposal is not like that. Like the pitching proposal, you want to have a good closure. Try to link back to your original story. And that's it. These are the 6 elements that you can follow. Okay, different ideas, sometimes you might swap the position a little bit, but usually standard, you can just follow this. Like for example, some ideas you might need a different way, a slightly different way to present all this relatable insight. Maybe you try to link back to another problem or things like that. But again, this one, different projects, different presentation will have slight different ways to present, but overall the main structure is the same. Alright, but now let's do a quick example, just a quick demo using an existing real projects by one of the graduates, final year students project by Carrie and also Shane. So I will use their words, okay? I will act as if I am them doing the presentation. So the story starts with, one day I was traveling using the LRT. So when I reached one of the station, the LRT Plaza Rakyat, when I get out of the train, and then I saw a blind uncle walking towards the opposite direction. And that opposite direction leads to a dead end, which is very dangerous because there's only one paga there. If he overcross, the uncle will fall down. So I quickly rush to the blind uncle and I tell the uncle, you are going to the wrong way. So I pull the uncle towards the right direction and ask, where are you heading to? The uncle said, I'm heading to the interchange, to the MRT. So okay. And he also told me that he's still quite new navigating through this area. So I bring the uncle, and then the uncle used the tactile paving, alright, the one on the ground. This is called a tactile paving, where blind people, they use their cane and try to feel the texture of the tactile paving. So usually tactile paving, there are 2 shapes. One is the straight line, which is a directional paving, which means to go, and the dotted paving, which is a warning paving where it is to stop. So when they use the cane and they feel that, this is a straight line, that means they just continue go. And when they feel they got dotted line, then they should stop and try to pay attention. Okay, where should we go next? So as I am leading the blind uncle and we hit to a T-junction, so even myself, which I am visually able, I can see, I cannot even tell which path goes to where, which path leads to where. Does the left side go to the elevator or does the right side go to the platform? So this raises a question. If a visually able person also cannot figure out what is the where does it leads to, so how about them? How about the blind people, the blind uncle, right? Okay, now this is the monologue part. The monologue part just now that I presented can be shorter, alright? So this one, it requires you to practice. You will try to practice a few versions so that you can cut it as short as possible, as straightforward as possible. Okay, then, now I want to justify the problem. Now, here's the problem. 2% of the Malaysian actually experience bilateral blindness. And then, you can present the data. So if you notice at the bottom there, all the references you can put at the bottom of the slide so that the reference text will not interrupt with whatever that is on the slide. Okay, so you present the data, the research, the statistic to show the impact, like this problem is a real problem. And then to exaggerate it even further, you can find existing news from newspaper, news outlet to prove that, yes, you see, if this is not continuous solved, it's not being solved immediately, people will die because it's already happening. So this one is the urgency already. We try to push the seriousness of this problem. Okay, now we move on to relatable insight. So because of this issue, we are we want to understand more about this problem. Why is it not being solved, or how can we help contribute to solve this problem, or at least raise awareness on this, whether we can solve or not. So so over here we visited the MAB, Malaysia Association for the Blind, in Brickfields, where it is like a school or training center for an association to train the blind people on how to read brailles, how to navigate through the city and infrastructure and all those. So while we are inside the MAB, we saw this. This is an interactive map where the blind people, they can touch, they can feel the direction, and then there are buttons on the map. So if they press the button, it will announce the location of that room. Like when you press, oh, this is surau, this is the male toilet, or this is the female toilet. So now, with this relatable insight, I got this idea. What if, okay, this is the light bulb moment. What if, since this product is designed for the blind people within the MAB building, which should be very good one, because it's designed just for them, why not, instead of putting it on the wall, we put it on the floor together with the tactile paving, or we put it on the tactile paving? What if? Right, it's a light bulb moment. So how can we do that? What is the concept and idea? We want to put the sound, right, where people can touch or can tap the tactile paving, and it will play the sound that can announce the location of where it goes. Basically, we want to provide navigation, which is something that is missing from the existing tactile paving. There's no navigation. Alright, so the idea is we create a tile where the user can tap using their cane, and it will announce the direction, the location, and to allow people to identify which tactile paving is interactable. Alright, we are inspired by this product called Sidewalk. This company, Sidewalks, they created custom tactiles in one of the countries where they teach people to identify, okay, this pattern is a grocery store. This pattern means it is going to the supermarket. So we apply a similar concept to create a custom pattern for the interactable tile. So with this, alright, with this product, if we are able to build this out, put it onto like our public train station or even like public road, we hope that one day we won't be able to see a visually impaired uncle or a person walking blindlessly, like don't know where to go, and then possibly like threaten their life. Then we want to create a safe space and accessible space, not just for normal Malaysians, normal people, but also for the people who needed them even more, like the blind people, the visually impaired people in Malaysia. So we try to link back to the original monologue a little bit, just as a closure. And then after the closure, it is good to create a tree like this, a summary tree, and just put it there. Instead of just writing the end or writing conclusion, you put this in. This is the conclusion slide, the summary of the entire concept and idea. Who is the target audience, what's the problem, the impact, the goal, and what's the solution, in a very simple manner, just for people to refresh when they want to ask question. Okay, now, visual wise, this is not a 100% must follow, but try to limit 15 words per slide. If you notice all the previous slides here, there are no slides that has more than 15 words. Okay, excluding the reference, because reference we put it at the bottom, very minor, like not very obvious. So try your best to limit to 15 words per slide. Don't slap every single text onto the slide, put a table that shows everything, or maybe 2 different data, you try to cram everything into one single slide, because the more distraction that you have on the slide, it will become a lecture slide. It will not become a proposal pitching already. So try to limit your words to 15 words per slide. Here's an exercise. Number 1, students are required to present a personal story drawn from their own experience to illustrate the problem. 17 words. How can you summarize this but maintain the meaning? Present a personal story from your own experience to illustrate the problem. We cut away 5 words, but the meaning is still the same. Now let's try it even more. We cut out even further. Illustrate problem using personal experience. The meaning is exactly the same, but 5 words. Why use 17 words when you can use 5 words? So sometimes you try to speak like caveman. Caveman like goo goo, ooh, gaga, ooh, light, fire, hot. So they use very limited vocab. That's why when you have a good presentation design, not just the structure, the storytelling, but also the visual design, the layout, the content information that you put inside, even if you have very limited vocabulary, you can still present your idea very clearly. That's why do not put a lot of text on your slide, or else you will tend to read the slide. You will try to memorize word by word, which at the end, it will affect the clarity of your presentation. It will not be smooth. Right? So for references, you can do it something like this. Just put a small text, make it not so contrast with the background color. Alright, again, more visual, less text. If picture can tell the story, then just put the picture. If picture alone is not enough, then put keywords. Rely more on visual to help you illustrate. Okay, illustrate your problem, illustrate your story. Don't use text to tell the story, because you are telling the story. Your mouth, you are verbally telling the story, so they should listen to you, and they should be looking at the visual to help them imagine the scenario that you're trying to paint to them better. And then for duration, 4 to 5 minutes is the best duration for a simple conceptual idea pitching. Try not to be less or too long. Right? 4 to 5 minutes is the best. There are some people who say that a good proposal pitch or presentation is like a short skirt. Long enough to cover the important parts, important section, but short enough to still make it exciting. This one is just somewhere I read someone is say like very funny metaphor analogy lah. Alright, so that's all for this tutorial or sharing. So try to, when you have your idea already, you write down in key points, and once it has been confirmed, translate those into your presentation slide according to this structure here. Okay, and once you've done it already, you should keep practicing and present a few times, because as you present more, you will notice that some structure, some slides you will want to like maybe swap the arrangement. Some you might want to split into 2. Sometimes you might notice that if I put everything in one slide, it feels too much, because both are very different things. Then you should separate into another slide. So again, practice more while you are practice more using this presentation, a narrative presentation design structure. It will help you improve your clarity, the coherence, and also the articulation of your conceptual idea.